Hey, yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay, hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team. Happy November, ladies and gentlemen. We made it. We're going into week 9, ladies and gentlemen. After this, we're pretty much at the halfway point right now of the NFL season. What a crazy time to be alive. Right now, ladies and gentlemen. But huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat right now. We got Ivan, we got Freddie, Ron, Munch, Michael. Appreciate y'all for being here in the chat. Do me a huge favor, smack up the like button on your way in. Make sure that other Cardinal fans know out there that we're going live right now. We're talking about the trade deadline. Let all the Cardinal fans know right now that we got the latest on what Monti Ossenfort had to say about the trade deadline. He spoke to he spoke to the local radio station today in Arizona sports. Now I want to be very clear. All the things that we're hearing today is courtesy of Arizona sports, right? I don't own any of these clips. I don't own any of these audios, but obviously we want to talk about it. We want to react to it together, and we want to kind of talk about where the stands of the Arizona Cardinals are heading into Tuesday, because I mentioned this on my last video, and thank you everybody for showing love. I really do appreciate it. There's been a crazy amount of new subscribers, a lot of people engaged with the channel. Thank you, everybody. I know it's easier to talk about in a team that's winning as opposed to a team that's losing. And I'm just happy that the Arizona Cardinals are trending in the right direction. But thank you everybody for all the support, all the recent support, all the new subscribers, all the new channel members, everybody that's made this channel possible. Thank you so very much. So today we're going to be diving into, obviously, Monti Ossenfort, the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals, spoke with Arizona Sports today on the show Wolf and Luke. And we got a couple clips to obviously dive into today. We already know that we've made a few videos about the trade deadline, and I feel like that's kind of been the big storyline, right? That's been the big storyline this week. It's not been Bears versus Cardinals. It's been the trade deadline, to be honest with you. And I don't want to take away from this game this coming weekend, because it's a big game. It can be a deciding factor as to, are the Cardinals going to be over 500, or are we going to try to play catch up again, right? And with what we're kind of seeing within this NFC West, we've said this once and we'll say it again, this NFC West is wide open, and a win or a loss can be a big implication on what happens in the West here. So if the Cardinals want to stay within it, they got to keep winning, right? That's kind of the only choice that we have going for us right now. So let's go and get started here, ladies and gentlemen. A lot to dive into today. Now I want to be very clear again, none of these clips belong to me. It's all courtesy here of Arizona Sports. But actually, let me do a quick shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following 2. By using promo code YouTube150, upon signing up, we'll get you this great offer by using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and get started here. A lot to dive into today. Let's get to the meat and potatoes in what Monti Ossenfort said this morning about the trade deadline and how they're going to be approaching it. Let's first dive into, obviously, the start of the conversation between Wolf and Luke and Monti Ossenfort, the general manager here of the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go and first start off here with the first clip on the approach on how this Arizona Cardinals organization is going to approach the trade deadline.
On Tuesday.
Hey guys, thanks, appreciate it. It's good. It's a great time of year, starting to feel that chill in the air, and starting to feel like football season. So it's great. It's a great time of year. But yeah, Luke, I would say, I'd say we try to bring a sense of urgency every week. I think every week is a new week, and this time of year is certainly the trade deadline is on a lot of people's mind, and it's out there. And so, that deadline comes up here Tuesday, and certainly we've been involved in a number of talks with teams, and we'll continue to be here as the days come by. And I think as with anything, there's a lot that goes into a trade, and first players have to be available and from other teams, and then next it's got to be a fit for us, and then lastly the cost of doing such a move. It's got to be you got to check off a lot of boxes, and so we're working through that process. Our pro department does an outstanding job of being prepared for what possibilities might come our way, and so we'll our main focus is really right now on the Bears and trying to get out of the game on Sunday with a victory, and then we'll deal with the trade deadline there on Monday and Tuesday and see if anything works for us.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Okay, no, we already knew that, right? We already knew that, that the Cardinals were in some sort of motion to potentially be buyers, right? We kind of already knew that. Now, hearing the fact that obviously everything's on the table, and it's been the quote that we've kind of heard Monti Ossenfort in this regime say already, right? They're going to leave no stones unturned, right? They're going to flip every stone and see exactly what's available. But he's right in a sense, and we kind of touched on this a little yesterday, where although the Cardinals fans want to go in on a Myles Garrett or they want to go in on a Max Crosby, they might not be available, right? They might not. You could probably look at the Raiders, and they don't really have a lot of star-studded names, right? And Myles Garrett kind of goes in the same way. Like, it's very hard to come across X-factor pass rushers, right? I feel like the Cardinals got really, really lucky with Chandler Jones, right? When we ended up getting him for a second-round pick, we got very, very lucky with him. Very, very lucky. So can the Cardinals be in an instance where we can get another young, talented guy that has promise and then can flourish into a Chandler Jones? Maybe, right? But that's going to be one of those things where we need to at least make a swing, right? We at least need to make an effort to do something. And what we're hearing from Monti Ossenfort right here, and obviously, again, courtesy here of Arizona Sports on the Wolf and Luke show, not my clip, but it comes from them, had a really good interview. And basically what he's saying is that, they're making a lot of phone calls, right? The phone calls are being very, very active right now. And that's definitely something which puts me at ease, because I know there were some Cardinal fans out there that felt like, hey, no, I don't think this regime's going to do a darn squat, right? But like, they're doing the efforts here, right? Now, whether something happens or not, you got to at least give kudos to where kudos is due. And that's the fact that they're at least trying to engage in these conversations to fill in these holes right now. Is it a terrible situation? Well, I guess not terrible, but does it suck that we're waiting this long for them to go, oh, light bulb, right? We need a pass rusher. Yes, it does, but it just kind of comes with the territory, right? With who the Cardinals are, right? We've gotten a lot of hype. We've gotten a lot of excitement around the Arizona Cardinals, being that we're 4-4, right? But imagine a world where we're 2-6, right? 3-5, right? I don't think this front office would be as engaged or as willing to make a move if the Cardinals weren't sitting at 4-4. Now, we've talked about this in the beginning of the season. The way that the Cardinals started off this year, we had one of the toughest, and I mean toughest starts in terms of schedule to start the 2024 season. It was brutal. It's a brutal start, right? Brutal start. So, of course, the Bills, the Rams, and then you had the Lions, right? All teams, Commanders, right? All teams are probably going to hit the playoffs. So the Cardinals being at 4-4 right now is a miracle. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even trying to be fun. It's a miracle. Seriously. It's a miracle to find out that the Cardinals are right now sitting at 4-4. And I think we can be in a good situation, right? We can be in a good situation. It's just there's an obvious piece missing, right? There's an obvious piece missing, and that's going to be the pass rusher here. Now, I want to go and get another clip here going. I believe Luke was the one who ended up asking Monti Ossenfort is pass rusher a priority, right? Now, we've already heard the rumors. We've already heard the videos that I posted here that the Cardinals are engaging and making phone calls. But the fact is the pass rusher a priority in your guys' eyes? And this is exactly what Monti Ossenfort had to say about that.
On pass rushers, do you consider that a priority position for you guys?
I mean, I think Luke, any position that can help our team is a priority for us, and so we've certainly been banged up there on the defensive front. We've taken some hits, though. They're not only on the interior of the defensive line, but on the edge. Those positions, certainly, those are certainly positions that we're going to look at, as are, there's players at other positions too that we're always going to look at. And if an opportunity comes, or if a player is made available, we're going to investigate those, no matter what it is. So, there's differing, availability of players. I'd say, what is out there is not always the truth. That, say player A, player B is available, and so we have to sift through that information and really, make our own decisions on what's the best for this team.
Okay, so pass rush is, here's the thing too, like, pass rush has been a constant conversation since the beginning of the year, right? It's been since the beginning of the year. It's always been a big need for the Cardinals. Always has been, right? The pass rusher, pass rush. And it's one of those things where, unfortunately, we've had the most amount of injuries, right? With Gardeck, BJ Ojulari, or I guess not even just the pass rush, the defensive line in general just have gone through so many injuries this year. And then on top of that, the right side of the offensive line as well. It's just the trenches have not been kind to the Cardinals at all. Not been kind at all to the Cardinals. So hearing the fact that, obviously, the question being asked is pass rush a big priority? Do I expect Monty to say, yes, it is? I mean, deep down, I would like him to acknowledge publicly, right? That he's aware, that we're aware, that, that this is the big problem on our team, is the lack of pass rush and the lack of the ability to get the quarterback down. That's only internally, right? That's only for my own sake. But I understand the way that he answered this, right? I understand it because obviously the whole, mantra or the whole, what's the word? What am I trying to say? What these guys have been preaching, right, is the fact that not leaving any stones unturned. So pass rush, right, definitely up there. But like he said, we can be in an instance where maybe the Cardinals do make another trade for somebody, right, for a different position. If that happens, cool. I'm okay with that. But as long as it's following the breaking news of the Cardinals also going for a pass rush as well, because I don't want to find ourselves in a situation where the Cardinals are trading for a wide receiver, and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just throwing things into a wall and just talking, right? I'm not trying to leave this trade deadline with the Cardinals trading for a wide receiver and then no pass rush happens, right? So, yeah, I mean, I agree. Anything could happen, right? If a deal makes sense and the compensation makes sense, and then there comes to an agreement with Monti Ossenfort and the other GM or the front office of the other team, then, if it makes sense, then I think the Cardinals can definitely act, because we are in an instance right now where they should make a move, right? This Cardinals team has proved that they can win, right? And that's with a not great defense, right? And I'm saying not great because they have shown promise. They have shown fight. I'm not going to come out here and say they're a 30 defense. No, because they're not. They're probably somewhere in the middle when it comes down to rankings, right? Whether you want to say passing, rushing, right? I think they all kind of follow somewhere down the middle, even if it's like 17, 18, right? I think they are a really good defense for who we have on this roster. And it is up to the general manager to, to try to fill in those holes, right? And right now the biggest hole is obviously the pass rusher, and we need to get somebody in here to kind of help us out, because BJ Ojulari will hopefully come back next year fully healthy. We got those two acquisitions that we ended up getting not too long ago. They're going to come back. Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, they're coming back as well. So the D-line on paper makes sense that it's going to get upgraded next year, right? But we do need to see something, because we got 9 games left, right? This NFC West might come down to the last 2 games of the season. Seriously, right? And then guess what? We end the season with the 49ers and the Rams. That's how we end our season. These last 2 games can be a very, very big implication of if the Cardinals are winning the West or if they're just going to fall short, right, of expectations, right? Or I guess really expectations is just progress more than anything. But like, if you're 4-4 right now with the toughest schedule that I don't think anybody's had, like this is the toughest schedule. It's tough. We're 4-4. Be happy. Praise all the football gods out there right now that the Cardinals are in the situation that we are in right now, right? We're not the Panthers. No, Oh, no, thank God. We're not the Panthers. Now, the Jets, they won. They're starting to kind of get some juices flowing. They're starting to kind of feel themselves here. They ended up being the Texans here on Thursday Night Football. I guess good for them. But, what we got to take care of is obviously upgrading this roster. And we can, as long as Monti Ossenfort makes the decision to go for a specific player and then obviously come to terms in cahoots with another general manager to get that specific player. So, curious there. Now, last question, and then we're going to be taking it to the chat here. Another question was asked about expectations, right? What is your expectations? Are you coming into this trade deadline saying, I'm going to get somebody, I'm going to be aggressive, right? And that's what was asked to Monti Ossenfort, and this is what Monty ended up saying about that.
Right. I mean, did you ever consider that? Is there something that you say to yourself, man, we're probably going to be able to do something at least at the deadline? What are your expectations for it?
My expectation really, Wolf, is just to investigate any opportunity that comes up, and I think really, it's always a balance, right? There's always a balance on, going to make a move, and then what's the alternative of not making a move, and what's the cost of that, not only for the near term, but the future. And so, really, I have no expectation other than we're going to investigate every single opportunity that comes across, and if there's an opportunity that we want to pursue, we're going to go investigate that as well. And so, if something comes together that we feel can help this team, we're going to be excited to do it. But it's also, we also don't want to make a move just to make a move if it's not the right move for this team. So, that's always going to be a balance, and one that we'll continue to work through here in the next few days.
Monty, last one.
So there it is, right? What's new, right? What's new? Nothing's really new when you hear Monti Ossenfort speak, right? He does love to speak in generalizations. And another shout out here to these clips coming from Arizona Sports. I don't own them. I don't own them at all. They come from Wolf and Luke, courtesy of them. But he ended up speaking today to them, and very good questions were asked to him about obviously the trade deadline and how they're approaching it, and hearing the fact that the Cardinals' expectations is he doesn't want to make a move just to make a move. I mean, I understand that because that makes sense, right? Like if you think about it, you don't want to be in a situation where you're making a move just out of desperation. But I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong here, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like this pass rusher is in a place right now where desperation might need to be set, right? Because of how bad injuries we're actually getting. Now, obviously, Monti Ossenfort is not one of those guys that's going to be able to predict the future, because if that's the case, he probably wouldn't be going all in on B.J. Ojolari and Dennis Gardeck, right? Now, although it could have been established in the offseason, the front office decided that this is going to be the best solution for the Cardinals heading into 2024, right? And then you hear Jonathan Gannon coming out saying, oh, I feel have true faith, right? Truly faith in the guys that we have here, right? With Zaven and Victor WKG and doing all these things. But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of in a level of, if the Cardinals don't address this defensive line, or I guess the edge rusher specifically, like this could be a deciding factor as to A, can you win the West, or B, can you win the 7 to 8 games? Because the Arizona Cardinals winning these last 3 games, it all came down to 1 or 2 points, right? It came down to a field goal, right? It came down to Chad Ryland saving our butts. And now honestly, we're all grateful for it, but what we need is for the opposing quarterbacks to not be making ham sandwiches back there when they drop back, right? Like that's what we're trying to avoid. So I get where he's coming from, right? And I don't expect him to come out speaking like me, because he's a general manager. He's business, right? He is the face of an organization. So I'm not coming out here and saying, oh, I need you to be aggressive and say this, and that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm okay with him saying what he's saying. But to me, if this is how he truly feels in closed doors, and this is what the meetings are saying and back there, and all the leadership is getting in a powwow and saying, well, we don't want to do anything out of desperation. Well, honestly, I think we're kind of in a spot where desperation is kind of starting to sit a little bit, because this defense right now, I think, can be a very, very good defense if we just have that one piece. We have a piece that is very, very well missing, and it's been very well missing since the beginning of the season. So it's not like, oh, we've had these injuries and now SOS. No, this has been a problem since the beginning of the season. There's been a problem since the beginning of the season, and let's not sit here and act like we thought BJ was going to go for like 12 plus sacks, because although we were having faith in the idea that he was going to have a good bounce back. Everything we were hearing that, oh man, he looked really good. But like, I still wanted the Cardinals to address something, to bring in some sort of veteran, right? To kind of come in here and help out. And the Cardinals just never did it. So I think right now, in Tuesday, now granted, if the Cardinals win against Chicago this coming weekend, then I think there's going to be a lot more excitement about Monty. Make that move. Make that move. If the Cardinals lose, there might be some Cardinal fans coming out of the bushes and say, I told you, they're not going to be good. Whatever the situation is, the Cardinals right now are 4-4. The NFC West is open. I think the Cardinals organization, although they don't want to admit it or they don't want to say it publicly, and that's fine, they should be at a level of potential desperation. And I'm not saying like make a stupid move. Don't give up 2 first-round picks for a guy that has 2 sacks, right? Obviously, right? Where you're going to be smart with these moves, but you got to do something. You got to do something here, right? We're in a situation where this Cardinals organization, this Cardinals team needs to prove to this team, or this front office needs to prove to this team, that we got your back, right? We got reinforcements coming. So hearing Monti Ossenfort say these things, although I am one of those guys and I'm trusting the process too, but you know, I don't like the notion that making a trade is not trusting the process, or making a trade completely destroys the rebuild, because that's not true at all. That's not true at all. You can still rebuild, but get somebody because of the circumstances that's laying out right in front of you, right? Because you don't know next year that the Cardinals will be in this situation next year, right? I've seen multiple years that we've seen a lot of Cardinal fans or the notion out there that, oh man, we're trending in the right direction next year, just watch out. You never know when the Cardinals are going to fall flat in their face. You never know. You do not want this culture to be complacent with losses, right? Oh, cool, okay, yeah, progress. With what we're seeing so far right now at 4-4, you're hearing Kyler say all the good things. You're hearing a lot of these people in this locker room say all the good things. But in order for you to actually establish a winning culture, guess what? You got to win. You got to win, right? There's only so much lip service you can say. You got to win. Even if it's 8 games and they're all hard-fought games, hey, you won. But make some effort. Do something, right? Because Monty's making moves, right? It's not like he's not making moves, but he's bringing in guys that are in people's practice squads. And we've talked about this before, that's not going to move the needle, right? You got to go out there and establish that, hey, we're going for the West, right? We're going for it, right? It's not our fault that injuries are happening in the NFC West. Guess what? We had a lot of injuries ourselves as well. But it's the teams that try to help out, right, the situation that's laid out in front of them to try to see if we can make a push. Because I think the West is attainable. I really do, right? I don't know if you guys heard, but Puka Nacua, wide receiver of the Rams, I think he got hurt again. And I'm not saying he's not playing this coming week. I think Sean McVay said that don't bet on him to not play, so it seems like he might. But, like, injuries happen, right? This is a time where the Cardinals need to take some sort of advantage. So, to me, because of the decisions that were made in the offseason, right, I think we're kind of reaching a level of desperation. Smart desperation, but I still do think that desperation has to be set in a sense that you need to go after a pass rusher, right? You have to. At least that's my mindset of it all. I think right now, the Cardinals are better than most people anticipated. Seriously. The Cardinals right now are better than most people anticipated. And guess what? When that happens, usually your front office and usually the guys, right, that are the GMs in the front office, they help out the defense if reinforcements is needed. Not blaming them for not doing it here in the offseason, but here's a chance, right? Here's a chance to make face and bring in somebody that potentially has 4 sacks on the season, 5 sacks on the season, 6 sacks on the season, if you know who I'm talking about. This is the chance right here. Let's see if we can go ahead and get it together. I think the Cardinals can. I think the Cardinals will, but that might just be blindly optimistic. That just might be me just being overly positive because I do believe in him. I do believe in Monti Ossenfort. I really do. And if there's reports out there saying that we're trying to get such and such, but the deal didn't come about, then okay, the deal didn't come about. But I'm glad that we're at least making the attempt to bring in somebody, right? It's on top of mind. Right now, the number one priority is the Bears. Let's get the win over the Bears. Once that happens, or if that happens, let me say better, if that happens, then we can start approaching the trade deadline here on Tuesday, which is currently right now 4 days away. 4 days away here, ladies and gentlemen, 4 days away. I don't think anybody's looking for a splash, right? We've said this in a couple podcasts ago. Don't expect Myles Garrett. Don't expect Crosby. Don't expect them. If it happens, then we celebrate, right? Then we celebrate and then we all get excited. I'm not expecting those guys. But I think that if you can get yourself a young kid, a young guy, a guy that's maybe 28 years old, if you do like him, you know who I'm talking about. And if you believe in what he can do and what intangibles he can bring, this defense can be better. This defense can be better. Drastically. Let me just do a quick search here real quick on the X/Twitter world to see if any news has dropped so far. Not seeing anything. Not seeing anything right now. Nope, no news. Yep, nothing. I mean, I don't really expect anything right now, though. But you never know, right? I don't expect anything. Tuesday. Notifications. Have those notifications on, ladies and gentlemen. Have those notifications on. Because I hope there's at least a move being made. at least a move being made. And I mean, hearing him talk today, it gives me confidence. I'm confident. I think he will. I think he'll do something. Let's take a couple chats here in the comments here. Appreciate you. Ivan, what's up, Ivan? He says, oh, there you go. 1 month membership. Appreciate you, Ivan, man. Thank you so very much for being a channel member. Michael in the chat says, to be honest with you, the talk is getting old. Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. To me, I never look too much into what they say. I always try to look for the underlining, right? The underlining of what they're really trying to say, right? Because whenever you hear these interviews and even these press conferences that you're seeing here, right? The press pass, right? None of these guys really tell you exactly the way that it is, right? And if you guys don't know that yet, then I don't know what to tell you, right? They do not want to give all their details out, and that's fine. And that's completely good. To me, it's not so much about, like, I don't care, personally. These answers or these answers that were asked, that were answered by the questions that were asked today, I have no problem with it as long as action is being followed, right? Because if the Cardinals make some sort of move, then I think we could all kind of be happy about maybe potentially seeing that pass rusher, or maybe in the quotes of Monti Ossenfort, anything's on the table, right? Then we could potentially talk about what am I trying to say? Oh, yeah, the next game versus the Jets, right? The next game versus the Jets. Jets got themselves a win. Good for them. Cards fan in the chat says, I think Gannon and Rallis deserves to get some D-line help. I agree. I've been saying this since the beginning of the offseason. Although I think we've improved from 2023 to 2024 on paper. I think we have improved. Definitely. Right? I think we've improved. But there has still been a sense of, man, I feel like this edge position specifically has been kind of ignored, right? Kind of ignored. We got my guy, Ford Chubb says, Aziz and BJ seems both to be very injury prone. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? BJ Ojulari so far, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, has not had a full healthy season under his belt right now. That's the truth. Aziz, on the other hand, has dealt with a couple injury concerns here as well. But here's the thing. It's the NFL, right? It's the NFL. I mean, sometimes you got to take a risk. Sometimes you got to swing to see if it actually works out, right? Now, I don't think anybody thought that Darius Robinson was going to be not playing in week 9. But also nobody suspected what's been happening in his personal life either, right? Nobody knew that was going to happen either. So like it's a situation that we're kind of finding ourselves in right now where the Cardinals can be in a good situation, but there is just an obvious hole that needs to be filled. An obvious hole that needs to be filled. And everybody's saying it. Everybody is. And I know there's a group of Cardinal fans that are thinking to themselves, we're not going to do anything, right? Because they don't want to be disappointed. And that's fine, right? To me, I got this platform. I'm going to try to use it to my best of ability, right? I'll give you my spiel. I'll tell you how I feel about it. We're not going to agree on everything, and that's fine, right? But my main thing is I need the Cardinals to make a move here. I feel like that can be a deciding factor here. A deciding factor as to, can we win the West, or are we just going for progress this year, right? Does Monty believe in this team, or are we just valuing draft picks just a little too much, right? Because draft picks can be great. Draft picks are wonderful. They're amazing. But draft picks don't always hit, right? And then you're dealing with rookies. How are they going to get into the NFL, right? I feel like one thing that we have noticed so far, Monti Ossenfort, is he does love his draft picks. He loves his draft picks, and it's not a bad thing, right? But you do got to bring some people in here that have already established that they can play in the NFL. Just my 2 cents, right? Just my own 2 cents. But yes, I still want to win 8 games too, Michael. Got my guy in the chat here saying, still want to, I still do too. I still do too. That will give me the warm and fuzzies about 2025. That's true. That's true. That will give me the warm and fuzzies about 2025 for sure. If the Cardinals don't do anything and we sit, then we wait to see how this rest of the season unfolds, because you got 2 games right now coming your way. Bears and Jets at home, that the Cardinals could potentially win. Potentially, right? But it's all going to be one of those situations, right? We got to be one of those situations here. You're never going to know what happens next year. McCaffrey could start next year. The 49ers can go on a run from the jump. The Seahawks might get themselves a young quarterback. They might go on a run. Stafford might decide to run it back with a fully healthy Puka and Cooper Kupp. And we lost the chance, right? We lost the chance here. Because you're not only playing for wins, you're playing for confidence. You're playing for this fan base to believe in this Arizona Cardinals team that they can win in 2025, right? Because although I do agree in a sense that you got to build within the draft, that's the truth. That's where you build it. That's where you build longevity. And here's the thing. I've actually been saying that before this man was even in office, right? But now, because that is the culture and that's the way that Monty's been saying over and over again, now I'm starting to see people say that like it's like, oh, well, he's building from the draft. And that's fine. I've always said this before. Even when Steve Klein was there, you got to build from the draft. If you want longevity, right, in your team, and not just win 2 years, rebuild for 4 or 5 years, you got to be a very, very good drafter. That's the truth. So far, is Monty a good drafter? I think he's better than Keim, right? I don't think he's a great drafter. I think he's a good drafter, right? You're not going to hit every single one of these picks. That's the facts, right? But you cannot just focus on the draft, right? You just cannot focus. Like, obviously you can. Like, let me rephrase this back. You build from the draft, but you still need to bring in veterans to help out any specific spots, right? You're 1 or 2 pieces that are missing, right? If you want to be a solid overall team. There's multiple ways to build your team, mainly through the draft, but trade deadline and free agency as well. So, we're already seeing my guy in the chat. I know. Building from the draft is important. I know. I've been saying this for 3 or 4 years now. Keim didn't know how to draft. Monty so far looks to be better than a Steve Keim in drafting. But that doesn't mean that you don't go after somebody because, oh, we like to build from the draft. No. Stop that. Stop. That's excuses. The Cardinals can go after somebody. And with what we're hearing this morning, it seems like phone calls are being made. The establishment of it being made, right? So that's all I'm kind of fighting for here. That's all I'm kind of fighting for here. I'm just fighting for, hey, remember, options are open. Leave no stones unturned. That's a quote from them. Leaving no stones unturned. Don't just focus on, oh, it's just a draft. It's just a draft. The Cardinals need to make moves too. It's simple as that. They got to make moves. We got my guy in the chat says, we can go 6-4 by the bye. I mean, we can. Yeah, we can. But let's take care of the Bears first, right? Let's take care of the Bears. That's the number one thing that's in my mind. That's the number one thing that's in this Arizona Cardinals organization's mind right now. And that's exactly how it should be. Take care of the Bears first. You take care of the Bears, then we're talking about the trade deadline 2 days later. Guess what? If the Cardinals are 5-4 going into the trade deadline, you better make a move. You gotta make a move. The draft is only one time a year, and it's the beginning of the season. And you don't know if these players are going to work until 3 or 4, 5 or 6, months into their, into signing the contract, right? They get drafted in April. There's a little bit of a hype in May because of the schedule. June and July, it's very, very dry. August, training camp, everything kind of starts happening. You got your preseason in August. Season starts up in September. You don't know if these draft picks are going to work. You don't, right? And sometimes you don't even know if they're going to work until, like, what am I trying to say? Like a year or two into their career, right? So draft picks are wonderful. That's how you build your draft. That's how you build your team. I agree. But let's not use that as an excuse. But Cardinals got to do something. They got to. RC3 with the super chat. What's up, buddy? He says, if the Cardinals sweep the division, we're winning 10 games. Hands down. True. Look for cornerback help in a trade as well to go along defensive line. All right. Wow. Okay. So right now, do you think they will go cornerback if they got Sean Murphy-Bunting? And I don't know if you guys know how I feel about Sean Murphy-Bunting. I'm not the biggest fan of Sean Murphy-Bunting, at least what we've seen so far. I'm not the biggest fan of him. But do you think that we will go cornerback even if we got Starling Thomas, Garrett, and then Max Melton? I don't know. I mean, I won't be mad at it. I just don't know if that's something the Cardinals would do. But hey, like I said, I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it one bit. I mean, if we somehow trade away Sean Murphy-Bunting to get another cornerback, then I'm okay with that. But I don't know. I feel like it's a little crowded right now. And I think I have the confidence in who we have right now with Starling Thomas, Garrett. Max is a rookie, but hopefully develops into somebody really, really good. And then, of course, Bunting. So, Sean Murphy-Bunting is absolute. Okay. My guy RC3 says yes. Okay, so you do think that we can go? Okay. Hey, I mean, like I said, we'll right per Monti Ossenfort here in this clip, and let me play it again. Here we go.
On pass rushers, do you consider that a priority position for you guys?
I mean, I think Luke, any position that can help our team is a priority for us, and so we've.
So I guess we don't have to listen to the whole thing. I mean, I guess maybe, right? Any position that can help this team is a priority. Okay, all right. Every stone unturned. All right. I'm not mad at it. Okay. Let's see what happens, right? I guess that's the number one thing. Let's see what happens here with the Arizona Cardinals here in Monti Ossenfort because he's got a tall task ahead of him. Yeah, absolutely does. He's got a tall task ahead of him because there's Cardinal fans like me that say, you got to go for it. You got to do something. And then there's some Cardinal fans that are like, oh, no, let's chill. Trust the process. And here's the thing. Like, even if we trust the process, and I mean don't do anything, the Cardinals still might be 6+ wins, right? And I mean like maybe 6 wins, 7 wins, even if they don't do anything. But like I said, a pass rusher can either make you a 6+ win team. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that again. A pass rusher can maybe make you a 6-win team, If you don't get one, so if you don't make a move and you just stay pat, you can be a 6-win team, which is still progress. Or if you do get a pass rusher, or if you do get some sort of help, then that can maybe mean that you're a 7 and 8 win team, right? And guess what? With what we're seeing so far in this trade deadline, people are giving up 6th round picks, 5th round picks. Are you losing sleep over a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick, right? Like, are we really trusting the process to the point where we're giving excuses to this front office because a 6th round pick? Come on. Like, those 5th round picks don't really do anything for us. They're late round picks. Sometimes you could hit a gem, sometimes, right? If that's something that we can do away with, I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I think pass rush should be the main priority personally, right? That's my main thing I feel like the Cardinals should do. Cornerback, I won't be mad at it. I mean, if they do it, they do it. Cool. But like I said, it's the same thing like I said earlier, right? If that happens, I better hear breaking news after that, right? Saying, oh, the Cardinals go for a pass rusher, right? Because there is some serious help that needs to be had about this Arizona Cardinal defense. Are we hurt? Yes. Are we injured? Yes. Is it unfortunate? Yes. But the Cardinals can still get better on defense. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. I just think that pass rush is more of a priority personally. But like I said, I'll be happy for anybody. I'll be happy for anybody. One thing you do not want is for Caleb Williams to sit back there as a rookie quarterback like Jaden Daniels did to us and pick us apart. You do not want that at all. Send pressure, provide pressure, put them on the ground, right? And then hopefully our offense continues what we did versus the Miami Dolphins and it translates. Hopefully, fingers crossed. That's what we're looking for, right? That's what we're looking for. Adrian, what's up? He says, look at ML Football's recent what? Are you saying post? Oh. Okay, I'm seeing it. Okay. If you do not know what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right, I'm sorry. So there was a post here from ML Football. Actually, let me just screenshot it so you guys can see it. Let's do that. So like you don't take my word for me, right? Let's do a screenshot here real quick. So you don't have to live in a world where it's just trust me, bro, right? Source, trust me, right? Okay, let me screenshot it here real quick. Now, Monty did talk about this as well, about Buda Baker, but let me go ahead and flash it here on the screen here real quick, and so we can all kind of get on the same page, and you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so appreciate you, Adrian. Thank you so very much for obviously putting this out here, but this is what it is. It says, breaking, the Philadelphia Eagles are the strong favorites to trade for all-star pro safety Buda Baker. Now, is this true? I mean, I guess. But I mean, we just heard Monti Ossenfort. Like, literally heard Monti Ossenfort this morning, the same time where we got these exact clips saying, don't believe anything you hear out there, right? Everything you hear out there is not all the truth, right? It's not all the truth. So I'm so actually glad that they asked this because that's so funny that now all of a sudden Buda Baker is a strong favorite to be traded to the Eagles. That's wild to me. There should be no reason. There should be no reason why the Cardinals should trade Buda Baker. No reason at all. And the way Monti Ossenfort spoke today about Buda Baker, it leads me to believe that like this is just one of those things that like the Myles Garrett thing we were talking about 2 or 3 days ago. Anybody remember that? People were like, "Oh my God, Myles Garrett." There was this post on Twitter that got a lot of steam behind it. A lot of steam behind it. Same thing with this. Don't think about it. Don't, guys. I don't. No, just no. That's all. I just know. If this happens, then we have a therapy session that day, okay? But I don't think it's gonna happen. The way that they talk and I mean Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort about Budda Baker, it seems like he's a long-term plan. I think we would be more confident as a Cardinal organization if we actually sign him pen to paper and actually make him part of the long-term plan. That would be a lot more exciting, of course, but it's just not what they're doing right now. And I don't get it, but like I said, I'm not Monti Ossenfort. I don't really know. But yeah, I wouldn't believe in this, honestly. Yeah, to me, this is just kind of clickbaity. Don't believe in this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't believe in it. No ifs given. What's up, man? He says, I feel like we won't get a pass rusher till next week if we get one. Yes, you're saying on the trade deadline? Yeah, most likely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not expecting for breaking news to drop or anything like that. I'm not expecting it at all, especially this Cardinals organization. They're probably going to wait for the trade deadline. The main thing that we got going for us right now, or the main focus that we have going for us, is we're focusing on Bears. And that's exactly what it should be doing, right? Focus on the Bears, beat them, and then once we hopefully beat them, if we beat them, then we worry about the trade deadline being at 5-4. But like I said, it's not going to be an easy one. It ain't going to be easy at all. It ain't going to be easy. And yeah, I agree. My guy Agent here in the chat, if they do trade Budda, will not be to the Eagles for sure. Yeah. Didn't they have this whole situation where I don't think we're even okay with the Eagles front office, right? I don't think we're even okay with the Eagles front office. That whole thing that happened with the tampering situation, I'm assuming that we lost that 3rd round pick. I believe it was a 3rd round pick, but by tampering with Jonathan Gannon. I don't think we're even in cahoots with them. Like if I were to put some sort of thing out there, right? Like if I were to put some sort of guess, I don't think we're even in cahoots with them. So like that would even be like silly for the Cardinals to do something like that. Like why make them better? We don't even like the Eagles. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Jesse, what's up, brother, man? Appreciate you, man. He says, Budda Baker is one of those players you want to have. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being in the chat. 100% agree. 100% agree. Absolutely. This is the same situation that I felt about, what's the name? Wow. Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann, right? The one that got away. It still haunts me to the day, among other players too, like a Calais Campbell, right? Other guys that we had in this locker room that unfortunately we let slip. It's kind of as close as that as it gets, right? With Tyrann Mathieu, we got Budda Baker, and then it almost kind of seemed like a passing of the torch. But man, Tyrann, man, he's still in the NFL. He's not the pro level that we all known him to be, but man, I don't know. That's how I feel about Budda. I really do like Budda Baker, and I 100% agree. He's one of those guys you want to keep in the locker room, and you want to make sure that this front office also backs him as well. And one thing that you got to do is you got to sign him, man. You got to sign him. But we'll see what this front office decides to do. Do not pay attention to this, lady. I want to see and I know we're live on X and Twitter as well as YouTube. If you're watching this and you're looking at this, don't worry about this. This is the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. No, stop it. Just stop it. All right, let's take a couple more chats here. Dario says, yeah, we don't trade. Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's absolutely no, why are we trading to them? Like, weren't they the same guys that trying to get get us all in trouble from Jonathan Gannon? Now, granted, we did tamper with Jonathan Gannon. That's the truth, right? Also, that is the truth. But still, like, they probably pushed it in order for us to get really dinged. What's up, Ivan? Appreciate the super chat, man. He says, can't be sellers if you have a franchise quarterback. Boom! I agree. Let me say this real quick, right? I've always said this. Kyler Murray, this is a big year for Kyler. This is an absolutely huge year for Kyler Murray this year. This is a massive year for Kyler. Has he proven that he's French? Honestly, I think he's trending in the right direction. I think we're 80, 90, 93, 94, 95% there. Consistently give me what we did here on Miami, and I'm not even looking for a 300-yard game. That's just a cherry on top of the ice cream when it comes down to Kyler Murray. If you can command this offense the way that you did, if you can command the offense like the wide receivers were involved in this last game versus Miami, then yeah, no doubt in the world, 2025, here we come. Rockets to the moon, right? But yeah, I agree. There should be no way in this front office's mind to think that they should sell Budda. Like, there's no way. And if they are thinking that, oh my God, then we're talking about something completely different here, ladies and gentlemen. Because, man, like I said, therapy session happening that same day. We're all going to need some sort of therapy session. But we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens there. Do you think we're going to make I do think we're going to make a move. I really do. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, I think we are going to make a move is translating to I hope we make a move. The Cardinals better make a move. We're in a situation that we should make a move. So keep in mind that when I'm saying yes, I think we're going to make a move is because of what I just said, right? We should. We think. Or I think, right? We should. The NFC West right now is very, very attainable to get to. But you need to get a pass rusher. You got to get a pass rusher. And that's what we've been talking about from the beginning of the season. Pass rush. Pass rush. And it hasn't changed. Same thing over as the same thing. So, yes, I do think we're going to make a move. I just hope it's going to be a pass rusher. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the way I feel about it, right? Now, you did hear Monty. I'm not sure if you guys were here earlier while we were playing the clips from this morning. Monti Ossenfort was actually live with Arizona Sports earlier this morning and talked to them about, how we're going to approach the NFL trade deadline. And actually, I know we got a lot more new people coming in here. So let me do that again. Let me just play the approach, right? The approach of how the Arizona Cardinals are going to approach the trade deadline heading into Tuesday. This is Monti Ossenfort with Arizona Sports on the Wolf and Luke show earlier this morning.
On Tuesday.
Hey guys, thanks, appreciate it. It's good. It's a great time of year, starting to feel that chill in the air, and starting to feel like football season. So it's great. It's a great time of year. But yeah, Luke, I would say, I'd say we try to bring a sense of urgency every week. I think every week is a new week, and this time of year is certainly the trade deadline is on a lot of people's mind, and it's out there. And so that deadline comes up here Tuesday, and certainly we've been involved in a number of talks with teams, and we'll continue to be here as the days come by. And I think as with anything, there's a lot that goes into a trade, and first players have to be available and from other teams, and then next it's got to be a fit for us, and then lastly the cost of doing such a move. It's got to be you got to check off a lot of boxes, and so we're working through that process. Our pro department does an outstanding job of being prepared for what possibilities might come our way, and so we'll our main focus is really right now on the Bears and trying to get out of the game on Sunday with a victory, and then we'll deal with the trade deadline there on Monday and Tuesday and see if anything works for us.
We're so big on fit. We really are. We're very, very, very big on fit. But that tells me the Cardinals are at least making phone calls. Did that get you pumped up, Cardinal fans? We're not used to this. Is foreign territory for us, ladies and gentlemen. This is foreign territory. The Cardinals are making the moves to try, right? We're making several calls. We're opening up the book. Main focus right now is I think Monty's trying to get a gauge, right? Who's available? Are they available? What are you looking for, right? We're trying to set the floor open. And that's important because in the trade deadline, come Monday and then Tuesday, it's actually expiring on Tuesday. But if there is trades that happen on Monday, that could very well be a thing where maybe the Cardinals do make a move on Monday. Maybe they make it on Tuesday. Right? We don't know, right? But the phone calls are being made. And he said it himself. Multiple phone calls have been made. So, hey, let's rock and roll. Let's go. Come on. We're in it. So that was this morning. He said that. So for what it's worth, we're hearing all the right things and now action, right? Because like I said, lip service. Lip service is a dime a dozen. Action is now. Let's see what happens here with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm excited, man. I got a game in 2 games. Oh, sorry, in 2 days. A game in 2 days. Chicago. And then we got trade deadline here in the next 2 days after that. So 4 days for the trade deadline. Man, what a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. All right, let me give a shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube here real quick, ladies and gentlemen. The sponsors to that allow this to obviously, help let me do what I do in a full-time basis, right? And that's going to be BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sports book, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following 2. If you use promo code YouTube150 upon signing up, you will get this great offer. Of course, bet responsibly and bet within your means. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close up shop. Do me this one big favor right now before we close up shop. Give me your best Cardinals Bears prediction in the chat right now, ladies and gentlemen. In the chat right now. Give me your best Cardinals Bears prediction. Let me get to my guy Jesse here. What's up, brother? He says, feels like the front office is trying to balance things. Cardinals are a year ahead of schedule, in my opinion. And now that they are there, is a balance of winning now versus the future. Yeah, that's fair. 100%. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I don't think anybody suspected the NFC West to be like this, right? I think, and if you guys don't know, my guy Jesse is the guy from NFC West roundtable, right? He's the host for the 49ers over there. So good friend of mine. But yeah, I mean, he's right. A lot of people didn't suspect the Cardinals to be here, but nobody suspected the NFC West to be like this either, right? Nobody suspected the NFC West. Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger and go for it. And we might be a pass rusher away, ladies and gentlemen. We might be. But let's see here. All right, we got our predictions trickling in. We got my guy Ivan in the chat saying W27-23. We got Cards fans saying win 31-24. 24-21. 17-14 for Mr. Bennett. We got Munch saying 21-10. Cardinals 30-29. Chris F saying 28-18. All right. So far, excitement is in the air here, ladies and gentlemen. We also got my guy Daniel here on the chat, says 28-27 Arizona. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you guys. Give me a huge favor. Smack up the like button on your way out. Do it for the algorithm. Do it for the channel. Continue to keep growing here. We are on the road to 16K. Can't do it without you guys. So definitely subscribe it up if you can. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.